Story time about how I catfished all the popular boys in my grade and they found out about it. So a little background information. I was at a new school. I just started there probably like 4 months before this happened. And I was best friends with this one girl. We're gonna call her Kate. And Kate had a crush on this guy. We're gonna call him Alex. And he liked her back, but she wanted to see if he was loyal. Well, at least that's what it was supposed to be at first. But then he started to actually fall in love with this bitch. So then I started feeling bad and I told my friend that I just wanted to end it right there. And she was like, no, let's keep going. This is so funny. Mind you, this was the boy that she liked. So at that point, I was like, whatever. And then he asked to meet up at the mall. So then we took him on a whole goose chase around the whole mall. Like, we were like, oh, we're in this store. Never mind, we're in this one. And the only reason why we got away with it was because he thought he saw us in the one store. So then we broke up with him and we started talking to all the other popular boys. And on this fake account, we said that we went to a different school. Well, one of the kids at that school said that he never saw us there, like for part 2. Part 2 about how I catfished all the popular boys in my school and they found out about it. So like I said, the one kid said, oh, I never saw you at my school. So then I just blocked him and thankfully that situation got left alone. Well, then after that, like I said, we started talking to all the other popular boys. We're gonna call this Catfish Ashley. Well, at that point, everybody knew who Ashley was. Like, I would literally be sitting in class and all the girls would be talking about how much they hate Ashley, how Ashley's such a hoe. Like, all the girls despised her. Sorry, her. And they kind of had a reason to, because we broke up so many relationships and everything. Well, the one night I'm having a sleepover with my friends. Well, Kate asked if she could come to the sleepover as if it wasn't obvious that she could come. Just a quick reminder, Kate was the one who I started the account with. So I was joking around with her and I was like, no, you can't come. So I wake up the next morning, right? And all the popular boys are blowing up my phone on my actual accounts, like for part 3. Part 3 about how I catfished all the popular boys in my school and they found out. So like I said, I wake up the next morning and thankfully it was a Sunday. And like I said, I woke up to text messages from all of Alex's friend group. And all these text messages were like, are you the one running the Ashley account? We saw screenshots of all the messages between you and Kate. So I texted Kate and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how does everybody know? And she made some bullshit ass excuse saying that her brother took her phone and took pictures of all the conversations and sent them to everybody. Which obviously I knew that wasn't true. But after that I went into a whole depression because everybody just kept coming at me for this fake account. Whatever, it was literally me and her who created it. She was the one who wanted to make it to fucking catfish this guy that she liked. So I wasn't going to school for a few days and my guidance counselor literally had to come to my house. Pretty much drag me out of the fucking house and bring me to school. So I sat in the guidance counselor's office all day and then I had to move schools.
So when I turned 13, I had a birthday party. It's no big deal. I mean, you know, I was just blossoming, turning into a woman. And so I remember my mom was like, no one's allowed in the rooms. Everyone needs to be outside. If you see anyone inside, you need to tell me. I was like, oh my God, Booma, you don't need to pop off. I get it, Booma, come on. I remember I saw 3 adults walk out of my room. I didn't tell my mom, but let me tell you why. Because I was like, maybe they're designing a gift for me. So the end of the day came, no surprise present came. I'm not mad. Are you mad? Because I'm happy. So we started cleaning up and then we went to go clean my room in case. Oh, the best part is coming! There was a voodoo doll under my bed. You know, it looked exactly like me. I remember there was one needle on its left eye, another needle on its heart, and it was laying on like a ratchet green leaf. And then next to it, there was a note that said, this is all gonna be mine in cursive. So then my mom started doing research on this. After we found the voodoo doll, my mom did some research and we found out that someone was basically trying to do evil to me and harm me. Like, you know, I appreciate you counting me in. I personally, I don't want to be voodooed, but thank you. Thankfully though, we had some cameras in the house, so we were about to see who was behind this. This is the best part. We checked the cameras and the 3 people that I saw walk out of my room, you know, they were strangers. My parents didn't invite them, they didn't know them. So what my dad did was he screenshotted the footage and then he posted it on Facebook and he was like, does anyone know who this is? So we ended up finding them, contacting them, whatever. And we found out they work for this company that does witch stuff. And you know, someone was paying them to do all of this witchery stuff on me. No, I'm fine. What about you? So we asked them, what is behind all of this? What magic are you trying to do? Who paid you?
After my dad contacted the witches basically told him that it's better to not talk about this on the phone. They then told my dad that the only person they can release information to is me. Long story short, I had to meet the witches at an alley by myself. By myself. I pull up, I feel like a whole ass horse. I'm about to shit everywhere. So then I come across the witches, and I remember they were looking straight at the ground. And I remember I was like, hi, and they were like, we cannot look you in the eyes because then the curse is gonna be ours. I remember I started asking them questions like, you know, just the usual, like, why'd you make a voodoo doll of me? They told me that the whole point behind this was for me to eventually turn crazy and be lonely forever. Bitch, I'm already crazy and needy as f. Unfortunately, they said they couldn't tell me who was behind all of this. I remember they told me how to break the curse though. They told me to put the voodoo doll in a wooden box and set it on fire. And they gave me this like nasty hot green juice, but apparently it killed the curse. Girl who used to bully the shit out of me DM'd me on Instagram. We are going to call her Emma. Emma DMs me and she's like, hey, we should meet up at Starbucks. I want to catch up. I want to tell you stuff. And my dumb ass was like, okay, let's do it. But the day comes when we're meeting up. So obviously I took an Uber there. I was gonna be a little late, so I called Emma and I was like, hey, my Uber's taking long. Can you please get my drink so we can talk more and I'll pay you back? And so she said she would, so it was cool. I get to Starbucks. So me and Emma are drinking our drink and then I start feeling very sick to the point where I was fainting and throwing up really bad. So I went to the bathroom and this lady followed me into the bathroom and told me that the girl that I was with, Emma, put a pill in my drink and I was gonna go confront Emma about it, and by the time I went back, she had ran away. So I ended up calling an Uber to go home because I was not feeling well at all. Like, I was dying. The Uber comes, and guess who is in the Uber? Emma!
Alright, I got one for you. So I was dating this girl for a while, and she invited me to dinner to finally meet her parents and everything, right? And she tells me it's gonna be a very special night, and she's acting all, like, kind of flirty special. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this the night, you know? So I go to the pharmacy, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I ask the pharmacist, like, about condoms. He goes, we have 3, 6, 12, how many do you want? I said, well, I don't know. I figure this is my first time, so once we go once, she'll want to keep doing it, and so I'll get the 12-pack. And the pharmacist is a super nice dude. He's like, just be careful, son. Don't do anything stupid, yada, yada, you know. And so I get the stuff, and I leave. Later that night, I show up at her place, I meet her family, we sit down for dinner. Now, she's a very Christian girl, and her family is very religious, so I offer to pray. And I start praying. Now, I just started going, and I went for maybe 5 or so minutes before she taps me on the shoulder and whispers, why are you still praying? And I look at her, and I whisper under my breath, and I go, why didn't you tell me your dad's a pharmacist? So, this mother goes to her son's apartment for dinner to meet the new roommate. Now, she notices the roommate is a very pretty woman about the same age as her son, and so she stares at them constantly throughout dinner. The son picks up on this and says, Mom, I know what you must be thinking, but I assure you we are just roommates, we're just friends, we are nothing more. And the mother accepts this, they finish their dinner, and she leaves. Now, about 2 weeks later, the roommate goes to the son and goes, hey, we had one extra plate, and it's missing. I don't know where it went. Do you want to ask your mother if she took it? And he goes, I mean, I guess. So he emails his mom. He says, Mom, ever since you came to dinner, we've been missing one plate. Now, I'm not saying you did take it. I'm not saying you didn't take it. But the fact is that it is missing ever since you left. So do you know where it is? A couple days later, he gets an email reply back from his mother, and she says, Son, I'm not saying that you're sleeping with your roommate, and I'm not saying that you're not. But what I'm saying is, the fact remains that if she'd been sleeping in her own bed, she would have found the plate under her pillow by now.
Story of the time a cop went in my car without my permission. So for a while, I was going to people's houses to do their nails. And I would do this in the summer, so a lot of my clients set up a table outside so that the smell didn't smell up their house too bad. I always feel rude to park in the person's driveway, so I usually park outside of their house on the side of the road. And this time in particular, I did just that, and we did her nails outside as well. At the time, my car had temp plates on it because I had just recently got it. And also, my car is a BMW 2-door with all tinted windows, so you cannot see inside of it even if you tried. So I could understand why it looks a little bit suspicious. Luckily for me, my nail client's dog ended up running out of the fence into the front yard, right near my car. So I go with her to chase him, and I see the police officer opening up my car door. And I wasn't parked illegally or anything, and my temp plates weren't expired either. So he had no right to be opening up my car doors. So I ran over to my car and I was like, what's going on? Why are you searching my car? And he was like, this is your car? Part 2 to a cop searching my car without my permission. So I see this police officer opening up my car door and putting his head inside my car. So I'm like, excuse me, officer, is there an issue? Why are you searching my car? And he was like, oh, like, this is your car? And I was like, yes, do you have a warrant? And then he said, do you live here? And I was like, no, but do you have a warrant? And then he said, no, actually, the neighbor called me because he was concerned, and I actually live down the street, and the car was unfamiliar, so I felt the need to search it.
I can't see inside of your car because of the tint, so I didn't know if somebody was in there, like maybe sleeping in their car or something. I don't really remember what he said, but I was like, okay, but I think you need a warrant to search the car. Please close my door. And honestly, he was pretty nice about it, I'm not gonna lie. I was just really annoyed because in my head, I'm thinking like, why? Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm always getting caught up for doing nothing.
Story time. So about 3 years ago, I was working at Burger King, and the job was overall really chill. But there was always this one customer who literally like carried her dog in her purse, always wore like pink and sunglasses. She just like looked bougie and acted bougie. She would always come to Burger King and be like, I'm getting food for my dog, and like make a statement like it's not for her, it's for her dog. And she would always say racist slurs. And I think she had anger issues too. She came in the drive-thru this one time, and we were packed, so obviously everything's delayed a little bit. And when she came to the window, she literally said, F you, go back to Mexico, and F your dad. I didn't say one word. I had this large drink in my hand, and my only reaction was to just simply throw it at her.
One time when I was in 8th grade, I got a hickey on my neck because I had daddy issues, and my teacher noticed and sent me to the principal's office, and the principal was like, I'm calling your mom. And I was like, I burned my neck with a curling iron on accident. And she was like, no, you didn't. So on the bus ride home, luckily my best friend and I shared the same bus stop, and I asked her if I could go to her house really quick to burn my neck with her curling iron, and she said yes. So when I walked into the house, my mom was literally ready to beat my ass, and I was like, Mom, look, it's just a curling iron burn. And she was like, wait, yeah, that's clearly just a curling iron burn. And she got so mad, and she called the principal, and she demanded that she apologize to me. And the principal had to apologize to me, and to this day, my mom still doesn't know.